welcoming you in for some sweet tea and Toll House cookies. Adam Carolla.
Yeah! Get it on. Got to get it on. The show's been going to mandate you get it on. Chris Hansen here, Jason Mayhem Miller. Yeah, Chris, you ruined sweet tea and Toll House cookies for me.
I know. You know, it was funny. I was doing one of the podcast episodes the other day, and I had forgotten the Predators I've caught, where I go over the old cases. I had forgotten that we actually left the brownies out in New Jersey, and they got so hard that the guy bit into it and just about broke a tooth. You could hear it audibly on the microphone. Always cover the brownies.
Yeah, I was in someone's kitchen the other day, and the guy's wife just said,
Not one of mine.
Not one, different kitchen, but she just said, you want some sweet tea and Toll House cookies? And I did a shoulder roll right through a plate glass window and started
the door wall.
I ran home, I yelled at kids, I'm going to Mexico, and I took off in an unmarked van.
If Chris Hansen pops by, tell him you don't know who I am.
Mayhem, you're rolling, teaching MMA.
I am,
teaching the kids the important lessons of life.
Correct, yeah. Self-defense, now that we got Chris Hansen here, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I could use you.
Underhooks, yeah. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised you never snapped a guy down to a front headlock, had to do it. You had this commanding authority every time you rolled in somewhere where people would just sit down.
It's good to be tall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Chris is tall, he's composed, he's confident, and what most people don't realize is I learned in high school when my buddy Ray peed on somebody's leg at a urinal, people's reactions, what did the guy do? Did the guy freak out? Did the guy punch him? You'll find most of the times people's reaction is confused.
Yes,
and
exactly.
they're trying to process stuff. Like when, you know, Mayhem, like when your dog walks in and you're masturbating.
Yeah.
He's just trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, I just try to maintain eye contact to assert dominance.
He's not barking or judging or alerting the other dogs. There's a weird confusion. And when you step out of the hall and confront those guys in the kitchen, it's not fight or flight. It's confusion. It's a third deer in a headlight
For the most part, it is. And even when the guys recognize me, and we have guys, you know, 20 years into this particular franchise who will say, you're Chris Hansen. And I respond by saying, yeah, but do you even realize what you've walked into?
Right.
And they're starstruck.
Right.
They're fanboy. and they're also facing, you know, 2 to 10 depending on their background.
My favorite part of that show, which I always watch religiously, is at a certain point, the guy starts apologizing. I always love the excuses. I love the excuses. First off, there are certain things in life. It's like the whole Joe Biden Parkinsonian thing, where they go, he doesn't have Parkinson's. Okay, then something's really off.
Yeah.
You know, and if we could assign. Reminds me of your friends, Mayhem, you may be one of these people. I certainly have a lot of these guys I went to high school with. When you're explaining to them that they were at a party the night before and they made an ass of themselves and they were drunken idiots, and they go, I wasn't drunk. It's like, believe me, I'm helping you
were drunk.
with drunk.
Right.
Claim drunk, because if it wasn't drunk, then something.
It would be felonious.
There'd be a big problem here.
Exactly.
But at some point, when they would say to you, look, I may have talked up a good game on the computer, but I really just came here to shoot some pool, have a few beers, take her out. She's 14.
Yeah.
You want to have a few beers and shoot pool with a 14-year-old?
Exactly.
Like, that is worse than the pedophile part. But at a certain point, Chris utters these magic words.
We had
You're
two
free
guys.
to leave.
We had 2 guys in the last 2 investigations, back to back. They're out on True Blue right now. Where the guys were convicted sex offenders. They were registered sex offenders out on probation. On the list, if you Google the registered sex offender RSO, they would show up in this area. Both of them are there to meet a teenage girl, different scenarios, and both claim that, oh no, one said, I'm just here for a massage with a 15-year-old girl.
Right.
Yeah, just a massage. There's nothing illegal. Yeah, it is illegal. And the other was saying, I just came to show her the wrongful ways in which she was living.
Oh,
and
wow.
Because I got caught up in this once before. He was accused and convicted, pleaded guilty of having sex with his girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter. Did 7 years in prison.
Wow.
Got out, and here he is in my kitchen saying that, well, I had gotten caught up in this scenario before. I was just going to try to tell the foster mom who was selling this daughter that this is a bad idea. You shouldn't be doing this. Like, really? Do I look stupid to you? Do I look like I've not been doing these investigations for 20 years?
I got the tip of the day for you, Chris Hansen. This is going to work like a charm.
I'm excited already.
Let's just say you're throwing a dinner party over at the house, right?
Yeah.
And you're having a good time, and the night's going well.
The barbecue.
Barbecue, drinks are flowing. There's always one guy who wants to bow out a little early. There's always that dude who goes, oh, I got a thing with the thing, and I just got to skedaddle. You go, you want another beer? And they go, I better not. I got to. And you think, you only been here for an hour and 10 minutes.
Right.
You know, why don't you hang out? When that guy says, I got to leave, and he's saying goodbye to you and your wife, you just say, you're free to leave. And he goes, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Now he thinks the Fresno PD's out on the lawn, right?
Exactly.
So anyone you don't want to go, just go, you're free to leave.
Yeah.
You're free
When they
to
try
leave.
the Irish ditch,
Right.
I will use that technique.
Because my favorite part of that show is they'd be sitting down and he'd be saying, at some point they'd offer up an excuse, and sometimes they were conciliatory. They were just like, look, I've made some bad decisions. I got a problem, but it's not going to happen again. And I've learned a lesson. And then Chris would go, you're free to leave. And that guy'd go, oh. You could see a little wave of, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I'm going to get away with this.
Dodge.
It's going to be on TV. It's going to be bad. But, you know, at least I'll be home tonight.
Yeah, the police department is doing calf stretches in the back, you know?
And they'd always walk out the door, and they always got tackled.
Yeah.
And the Fresno PD would yell down, get down, but they never gave him the chance to get down. They were always on top of the guy with the forearm shiver before he even had an opportunity to get. Before gravity would do its work, they were on top of this guy.
Well, now in some cases, my line is, okay, there's some people here who also want to talk to you.
Update.
A little updated
Because,
line.
you know, if it gets outside, there's always the danger of people figuring out you're running a sting. So we try as best as we can now to keep it contained in the sting house, in the area where we do it. So now the line is, there's some fellas here, some gals who'd like to talk to you. And you see their face, and they sort of know that nothing good is going to happen.
Chris is on Fox. I see him all over Fox now. True Blue Crime Network is what we're plugging. But I realize, you know, you have certain words that are just great in your repertoire. You know, penis is one of them. Penis is good, but Fox is solid for you, too.
Fox is great. And
I mean the word Fox, not the network.
Fox, yeah.
We could connect penis and Fox. Like I pulled out my penis at Fox.
I don't think I'll be doing that because I might not be invited back.
In a sentence. I would say he pulled out his penis
in front of Fox News.
Right. Yeah. Right. In a sentence. Maybe we could hear that, Chris.
I was walking into Fox News, and somebody from MSNBC came by and pulled out their penis.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's perfect. That's good. A lot of credibility. So
somehow I'll get in trouble for that.
Oh my God!
That was the point of it from the get-go.
Clip that.
What is wrong with me? And that it started off with me watching the movie Papillon. It was a great movie with Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman called Papillon. Many haven't seen it. Sort of based on a true story. You should watch it. It's a real adventure back before all the CGI and all that stuff. Just a crazy story, probably loosely based on a true story of a guy put away in French prison for, you know, crimes he didn't commit. By the way, and just for streamlining things, if I see another byline or hear someone else where he goes, he was framed for a murder he didn't commit. Yeah, we got it because I got the word framed. Framed. You had me with framed. We didn't need he didn't commit.
It's the exact same thing.
It's built into framed. Every single one. He's framed for a murder he didn't commit. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. You said framed. Okay. So, Papillon was framed, and he went to France, and he ended up in French Guiana, penal colony, where I think Richard Dreyfuss's, Richard Dreyfuss, the actor, has a distant relative who was like a colonel in the French army. And, you know, they had an island, and they were just banish people to the island. Like, we should be doing that with Catalina. You know what I mean? It's like, look, there's people we don't want on our soil. Just put them over there. They can hang out on the island. And once you got to the island, you're just sort of in charge of yourself. You couldn't get off the island. You just go grow some vegetables and kill a pig or something, live in a hut. But it was a true story. And I remember as a kid, I felt really bad for Steve McQueen. Like, I felt bad. Anytime I saw a prison movie, I felt bad for the prisoners. I didn't feel bad for the guards or the victims even.
Because they were framed for a crime they didn't
commit. And every time I watched Catch a Predator, I was like, I feel bad for the guys. I'm glad they're off the street, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. But there's a part of me that's empathetic. Like, I just feel like it's a disease almost.
Well, I feel empathetic sometimes for, like, the guy who served our country in Iraq, right? Who may have been somewhat affected by the war that maybe made him different.
Right.
I feel some empathy for the younger guys who may have been doing this for the first time. But then I start to think, what would have happened had we not been there, and there had really been a 13, 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl there? And what would have happened almost routinely and without fear of contradiction is the sexual exploitation of a child.
Right.
And so I feel a lot less empathy at that point. But I understand what you're saying. And that's part of the drama of the entire franchise. It's why we're into the third generation of people who are glued to the screen, is that human drama of watching somebody get caught in the commission of a felony.
Producer Joe, did Richard Dreyfuss have a distant family member who was put on a French Guiana, an island, like Devil's Island, to ride out the rest of his life after some sort of accused of a military crime in like 1931 or something?
Yes, Alfred Dreyfuss.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. What happened? My great uncle died in a brothel in Cincinnati, but this is different. What's this guy's story? No wonder Dreyfuss is so angry and confused now.
Known as the Dreyfuss Affair from 1894 to 1906, when he was wrongfully accused and convicted due to anti-Semitism of being a spy for the German Empire. Upon his arrest, he was sentenced to degradation and deported to the penal colony on Devil's Island to be imprisoned until his death. However, evidence emerged showing that Dreyfuss was innocent and that the true culprit was a Catholic officer named Esterhazy. Revelations.
Wow. Framed for a crime he didn't commit.
Yeah.
Imagine living on Devil's Island for a crime you didn't commit for the rest of your life.
Bad sentence. Hunting pigs with a stick.
I mean, it was quite beautiful because it's French Guiana.
Well, I'll have to go back and watch it. I saw it many, many years ago. I would not be an expert on every scene.
I saw it.
I will check it out.
So, remember when we were kids and parents didn't give a shit about their kids when we were kids?
When we roamed the neighborhood and the adjacent 40 acres with BB guns and bows and arrows.
We did just whatever we wanted because our parents didn't give a shit.
The real loose parents let their kids have mini bikes. We weren't allowed mini bikes, but we had BB guns and bows and arrows.
Yeah.
I mean, walked around with bows and arrows with metal tips.
And so the movies we would see when I was 8, the movies I would see were the movies my dad wanted to see that were wildly inappropriate for an 8-year-old, but he didn't want to hire a sitter.
Right.
And so instead,
cost more than the movie.
Yeah, you'd get one child admission was $1.75, better than paying the sitter $10, and then I'd have to go sit with him and watch these adult-themed movies that bored the shit out of me. Carnal knowledge, and Margaret. Yeah. No, there was a scene. First off, Papillon, there were beheadings, there were torture.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was horrific. And then there was one scene. The scene that disturbed me the most when I was 8 is there was a scene where they're like in the infirmary, always with the mosquito nets, because there was mosquitoes and malaria everywhere. And like one guy, the guard, big burly guy, like walked up to the twink prisoner who was laying there in his loincloth on the bed, and he like took a flower and he put it in his mouth, and I was like 8. I was like, oh, Christ, what the hell? And then he just like dragged his hand down his chest and like slid it into his underpants. And I was like, really? Like, I'm not going to be confused enough about my sexuality just because of Mom alone. Now this. Now I have to see this.
And
I'm 7.5, bro.
Right. It's disturbing.
Right. Find that Pepion scene. You're gonna. What year was Pepion?
I don't know if I even want to see it.
You're gonna see it.
Yeah.
I was 7.5. I was 8.5. What year's Pepion?
Well, the fact that you can still remember it.
73. I was
73.
I was 9. I was 9 years old. Struggling already with my sexuality. Still am. It's a battle.
You'll work.
It
through
never
it.
ends.
Yeah, you'll work through it.
It never ends. And I remember just sitting there next to my dad.
I'm sure there's
going,
a podcast for that.
I just remember going, oh, Christ.
Yeah. Why do you do this to me?
Why do you do this, Dad? I know
What were
you don't
you
want to
thinking?
pay a sitter, but... And it's before the Cineplex. Because back in the day, I could just... If there was a Cineplex, then my dad would see Pepion, and I would watch the Apple Dumpling Gang, starring Don Knotts on the other thing, and then I'll meet him in the lobby.
Yeah.
But not this. No, not
In
this.
those days, you didn't have to worry about a predator doing anything weird to you in the movie theater.
Yeah, my dad was a predator.
Yeah.
He drove me there. When you see this scene, it was so disturbing.
Who directed that film, do you know?
It was somebody, and if people want to know, like, first off, Dustin Hoffman, you want to talk about chops. Dustin Hoffman was probably 33 when he filmed this movie, and at the end, it was directed by Franklin J. Schaffner. Later on. So Hoffman was, 34, and Steve McQueen was 32, and they both aged like old men. No CGI, no prosthetics, just they turned into old men.
I'm a big fan of both of them.
And they both made killer old men. Like they both should have been nominated for this movie. It's a great sort of action, adventure, homoerotic film.
For you at least. As all are.
Yeah, so we can find that. I can shift gears and buy a little time to find that, Joe. But when you find it, put it on the screen. I always have to ask. I was driving here down PCH. Well, first a comment, a thought, since we're talking about, we got Chris here, we're talking crime. I was watching footage a couple nights ago, an Oakland gas station had been taken over by a flash mob.
Saw it.
There's a couple things. They go, the thieves were in there 45 minutes. Every single thing as a kid that I grew up that involved illegal behavior, everyone was on the clock.
Right.
It's like the van would pull up in front of the bank and they'd go 2 minutes and 30 seconds, in and out, 2:30. Like everything. 45 minutes these people are just hanging out. Do you know, that's an eternity to commit a crime.
It is.
40 minutes. Where are the cops? The zero fear of the cops rolling up. Like when you break into a house, or like when I was a kid, you'd steal a 6-pack of Mickey's Big Mouth. One, rock, paper, scissors. Someone's going to have to run in there, grab it, and come sprinting out, running down the street. There was no loitering during the commission of a crime. 40 minutes is longer than an episode of Three's Company, and you're just hanging with zero fear of the cops.
We've been working on a documentary on this whole fentanyl issue relating to all the other crimes.
I saw you talking about
the merchants of death, we call it. And so gangs of Honduran illegal immigrants have taken over the fentanyl business in San Francisco, in Oakland, in that entire area. And they're making probably 300 or 400 of them, all making $300,000 or $400,000 a year, shipping the money back to Honduras, building mansions, and this crime wave associated with it. You've got people committing retail theft to pay for their habit. You've got people committing retail theft on a wide scale to get capital to get into the even more profitable fentanyl business.
Yeah.
And so we had video from Santa Clara that showed a gang breaking into a jewelry store using bear spray
Yep.
to incapacitate the owners and the workers, smashing the cases, taking Rolex and Tudor watches, and off they go. They caught some of the guys.
I saw the footage.
Yeah.
I'm not here to give tips to guys doing smash and grabs or cooking fentanyl.
Yeah.
But if you bring a ball-peen hammer in to smash the case, I saw the footage.
Right.
Don't hit the top.
Yeah.
That's reinforced safety glass.
It's hard to get
Hit the side. Yeah. You can bust in easily and slide your hand in, or you can do a fool's errand and keep beating at the top. That's like trying to push a car windshield out. Yeah, write it down, man. Hit the front of it, bust. That's just regular glass, not laminated or tempered or whatever. You bust that out, reach in and grab your shit. You start banging at the top, you're banging all day. That's what I learned from the
point of what I'm getting at here is that these videos are not hard to find. Every week, it seems there's another one. The Oakland one you talked about, which is astonishingly alarming because it went on for 45 minutes with no police response. The videos that we've seen out of San Francisco and Santa Clara, also shocking. But this is going on. They've had 24 major retail stores close in San Francisco.
But what do you yell to all the super compassionate lefty women who run these towns? What's the plan? What is the end game? What is the plan?
Is that they've got at least they have an active prosecutor now in San Francisco. But still, they're dealing with state laws where if you steal $950 or less of stuff, you get a ticket. And there's no accumulating threat because they can get all the tickets they want. And they don't get prosecuted. It's the prosecutors are trying to do this. They're working with the feds to try to make this more effective. But the judges in these sanctuary cities don't crack down on these guys.
Listen, you get what you let.
Right.
It's a new saying. I'm just saying you get what you let happen.
Right. And
that's what you're going to get. If you want to throw a bunch of food trash into a dumpster in a place where there's a bear population,
or rats,
and you don't buy, or rats or raccoons or whatever, you don't buy a dumpster with a lid and a latch and a hasp on it, then you will get lots of rats and bears hanging around the dumpster. It just is. That's what you get.
The case in Newport where the tourist from New Zealand was killed in the robbery.
Right.
The main guy who's accused in that, was arrested within the last year for stealing a Rolex from a guy. They allowed him to plead to charges that didn't result in prison time, and now he's out doing this. So some poor
was
tourist,
he at least from this country?
Yeah, I believe he was.
Oh, that's refreshing.
Yeah, I believe he was.
In
good
this
on
case.
him.
Well, then good on him. There you go.
But can you imagine? Here you are, a tourist from New Zealand, and you're at this beautiful mall where you should face no danger, and you end up dead because of a guy who should have been locked up a year ago, and he had a domestic threat charge before that. This guy should have been away for a long time.
Imagine your daughter got raped and killed in the woods for someone who shouldn't have been in this country.
I agree.
I mean, that has to, like as a parent, your kid buys it in a moped accident. That's tragic because your kid's gone.
Exactly.
But it's not like you don't have to wrestle with it and digest it for the rest of your life. I mean, it's sad and you think about it. But when somebody got busted at the border like 6 times and deported and caught and not deported and then let out and released into the inner part of the country, when that person rapes and kills, that's just got to be, you'll never get another night's sleep.
We know by the government's own statistics that last year, nearly 80,000 illegal immigrants got into this country with criminal records. Of those 80,000, they were responsible for 280,000 crimes. And you can break it on down, but at least 3,000 or 4,000 were sexual assaults.
Well, the thing about it's so great because
those are hard numbers. That's not fuzzy math.
When you hear fuzzy math was my gay porn name. It confused a lot of my partners. But
it was right after you saw the movie.
Papillon. No, the thing that's crazy is like you hear Mayorkas gets interviewed, right? And the person goes, look, this person wasn't supposed to be in this country. They're caught 6 times. They were never deported. And now they went on to kill this woman who was jogging in the park. What do you have to say to that? And he goes, we're prosecuting that person to the fullest extent of the law. And it's like, douche, that's not the question.
Right. How did he get here in the first place?
Yeah, you would prosecute me to the full extent of the law if I killed someone who was jogging in the park. You're in charge of the border. You're not in charge of the DOJ. We're asking you why that person is here, not what you're going to do to murderers. No one accuses you of letting off
It's not
murderers.
even his job to prosecute the murderers.
Right.
It's his job to keep the people from getting in.
Right, but of course he ducks it. All right, we have the Pepe on.
I'm afraid to watch this. But
Let's lighten up the mood with some homoeroticism.
They're in the infirmary,
Right,
am
they
I
got the
right?
Mosquito nets.
Right. Chris, why don't you narrate?
Okay.
There's a guard.
Here's the guard with the
You're going to
flashlight.
find the guard is very creepy.
The guard looks like a prisoner himself.
He is. Oh, it's moving at twice the speed.
Yeah.
Now, then you got the twink. Holds the guy's face. Young twink. Puts the flower in his mouth. I'm very uncomfortable as
I don't
a
like this
9-year-old
at
at this point.
I'm uncomfortable as a 64-year-old. at this point.
Creepy guard. Now the hand. Now the hand massages the chest and goes down the shorts. I'm looking at my dad.
What
going,
was this
Dad,
rated?
come on now.
1973.
Dad, why?
Dad, why? Why do I have to watch this guy get a handy on a prison cot? I'm 9. My life should be full of dreams and unicorns and ponies.
Mini bikes and
At this
BB
point, I
guns.
still think I got a shot at playing shortstop for the Yankees, not this.
Yeah.
Okay. Flower
That's
in his
disturbing.
mouth. Yeah.
Very confusing.
Well, but don't worry. I'm going to get to watch this guy and Steve McQueen shank the guard in act number 3. So
there you
don't worry about it. All was right in the Carolla house.
Steve looks disturbed there.
Not as disturbed as I was at the
Yeah.
Lorena Theater in North Hollywood in 1973, Chris, but I get where you're at. I should yell at my dad's still alive. I should yell at him. What the fuck?
I'd have a conversation about that.
Here's the deal. I wanted to see bed knobs and broomsticks. Okay? You signed me up for PPR.
You just about saw bed knobs and broomsticks right there.
Dude,
that was going to be the next scene.
Do you understand why I can't hold
Yeah.
down a meaningful relationship? Do you understand that, Father? You know why?
Yeah.
Let me show you this
Yeah.
clip.
Yeah.
It's etched into my brain.
Yeah.
You don't remember it. It's etched into my brain.
Yeah. You can't forget it.
Can't. Did I? First off, I saw that scene in 1973. Did I not work it out frame for frame for you in my description of it? You didn't need to see the film.
Yeah.
I walked, I
understood
Zaprudered
it
you
when
right through that
exactly.
shit.
Now I've got to deal with it.
Yeah, we all got to deal with the pain. Spread the trauma around,
I'm
Adam.
disturbed already. Yeah.
So the reason I was laughing.
I'm afraid to go to the pool at the hotel this afternoon.
Look, if you get the flour in your mouth.
Yeah.
There'll be none of that.
Nothing good happens after the flour in the
no.
mouth. When the guard
Not
puts the
taking that.
flour in your mouth, you spit it out. And you first off sleep on your belly.
Yeah.
Okay, number one.
I don't know.
Okay, so. Oh yeah, you're right. No,
Yeah, bad call.
You're right.
Bad
Bad
call.
call.
The flour
You're right.
someplace else.
Sleep on your side. Jesus Christ, I can't think of a good way to sleep. Okay, so here's the thing. So I'm watching this 40-minute tape of the flash mob taking over the store. A small business owner owns the gas station, and there's a few things. I'll tell you the people I want. Like when I'm studying the film and I'm going to prosecute these hoodlums, the guy who runs behind the counter and steals the Tiparillo case or goes for the high-end jerky, I don't like it, but he's not going to get prosecuted as badly from me
Right.
of the guy who just grabs the display case that's on top of the Juul cigarettes and just knocks it over.
Right, just
Like
for
you're
the
not
hell of it.
looting. You're
Right.
just literally knocking shit over. There's nothing even in it for you other than to knock shit over. That's the scariest guy. Because the guy who steals the jerky is either going to eat the jerky or sell the jerky. The other guy's just along for the ride. He's just there to knock shit down. All right, but that is called a flash mob.
Right.
And I was like thinking back. I was like, flash mob. That's not a new thing, statement. We're using it now in a new way. These flash mobs, jewelry stores, takeovers, and gas stations and whatnot. But I was like, I think 10 years ago, flash mob meant James Corden is going to the intersection of
Right, and
Wilshire and
everybody gets out
Doheny,
and does a little
all the
dance.
people
Yeah.
are dancing. And I'm
Right.
like, oh, this is an eerie harbinger. Because a flash mob used to mean people joyfully dancing in places they weren't
Supposed to
to
Yeah.
dance, and now it means a whole group of people doing a street takeover or
Yeah.
looting a CVS.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, obviously, New York has its own special crime problem, right? But at least in New York, and I think in LA to a great extent, when somebody does something like that and it's on video, the clock is running. NYPD will find you, and people will rat you out, and they will get the vast majority.
You're
of
saying
those
the
guys.
culture in Los Angeles is that everybody keeps.
I think the Los Angeles culture is more like the New York culture. I think when you get in the Bay Area, there's more of a laissez-faire, and there's great cops in San Francisco. I mean, we embedded with recently retired cops. I just think there's a cultural difference.
I got about the NYPD, right?
Yeah.
you know fairly well.
Yeah.
Because you're not from New York.
No, but I've lived in or around New York for 30-some years now.
Well, this is good because I'm on to my next question.
Yes.
And this is a very
ready.
important question.
Sure.
Okay. I was walking through Manhattan, played Governors on Long Island a week and a half ago, spent a lot of time, did some Fox, Gutfeld, and other shows and things like that. So I was walking around. And as you know, there's a very strong police presence in Manhattan. Sure. I mean, there's cop cars on every corner. There's cops walking everywhere.
36,000 sworn officers in New York City.
There's a lot of them. And as I have something called hypervigilance disorder.
Yes.
And that means I notice everything, and it almost all annoys me. That's the sad part. I don't notice the beauty. I notice the stuff that pisses me off. And so I'm passing. You pass a squad car every 71 feet over there. It's just nothing but units everywhere. And I keep looking down, and we'll put the sign up there, Joe, but I keep saying the motto on the side of the patrol car is courtesy, professionalism, respect. Like we have serve and, oh, God, I can't remember the LAPD is. Well, I'll think of it. But protect and serve.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody has their bullshit motto they put on the side of the thing. And they can't say to crack black skulls. They have to say courtesy, professionalism, respect, right? They highlight so they take the first letter of courtesy and they make it twice as big as the other, uppercase, and they go full size. And while all the letters are blue, courtesy, the C is red. And then the P for professionalism is red and twice the size. And the R is the same for respect. They're large and they're in red face and everything else is blue. And as you pass the car, all you walk away from is CPR.
Exactly.
CPR exists, it's a thing, and it means something totally different than policing. Why are you sending CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation? That's what CPR is. It exists, it's been around, it's like STP. You took these words, courtesy, professionalism, and respect, and this is why I can't enjoy my life, because I stand there getting angry. What message are you trying to convey? If you're not trying to convey CPR, why did you make the letters in red and why did you make them twice the size? What are you doing?
I'm lost to answer that question.
That's the point.
And I've often wondered that very same thing.
You have wondered this.
Absolutely I have.
Good
walking
for you.
Through the streets. And
Dr.
listen,
Drew didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, which then makes me angry again.
Yeah, at Dr. Drew.
Yeah, not at you. You're a hero.
Yeah. Right, but in my own mind. But I've often wondered that is because, okay, I get CPR. CPR is important, and it saves people's lives, and everybody should know it. But it is kind of a disconnect with what the NYPD is trying to
So here's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering about
who thought that up? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, first off, they have. This isn't Muncie, Indiana PD. This is New York. This is the home of Madison Avenue. You know what I mean? There's all the great campaigns and all the great sayings, and Nikes, just do it. They're the greatest intellectual minds in the world, all congregated in 28 square blocks. So somebody says, let's go with courtesy, professionalism, and respect. And you go, okay. And then let's go with the first letters of all of them, bold and in red. Oh, all right. So that would be CPR. But Stan, that's a thing, CPR. And he goes, yeah. Well, why don't we just do professionalism, courtesy, and respect? Why don't we just jumble the order a little bit? Then it wouldn't be CPR, which exists. That's a thing that exists. Or don't do it in red. No, we're doing it in red. We're doing it twice the size. And everyone walks by, it's just going to read CPR. They're going to think there's some sort of pulmonary specialist or something.
It's been this way for as long as I can remember.
1997.
Okay, so I moved
did the
there,
math.
You did the math. I moved there in 93.
They're getting rid of it.
They are.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense.
After 30 years.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, are you allowed to go rogue at a stand going, fuck all you, I'm putting it on the side of every cruiser? Or is there some sort of committee where you have to kind of vet it? You know what I mean? Like, I can't.
There should be a committee. I mean, there is for everything else.
Mayhem can't go down to the Glendale. He can't go to the Glendale motor vehicle, DMV, right? He can't go, listen, I got a vanity plate. Nazi lover. Okay? Now, it's N-Z, and they're going to go, no.
No, we're not going to do that.
We're not doing it. No. Why? Because we have a group of sane people that don't let you do insane things. That's why. Somebody had to raise their hand and go, CPR's a thing, but it's not our thing. And I don't know why we're making a thing out of it. And nobody can give us, no one has the answer to this.
No, I certainly don't.
Weird,
I
can
work on it.
97. Can you get your people on it?
Oh, I will. I'll call somebody. In fact, I deal with the NYPD all the time for different.
No one's going to have an answer.
I bet I can find.
Then
I'll get on it.
So I start getting angry.
Anyway, on something else.
I got home. First thing, like I said, I was angry at Drew, who lives in Matt. He's in there all the time. He says, no idea what I'm talking about. Because that's the beauty of Drew, just to walk through life, never thinking about anything, you know? Well, glorious, like a dog, you know what I mean? Like a Labrador.
Goldfish.
Just happy. Just happy there's a fan. You get to lay on the floor next to it. Happy. That's Drew. So I have to explain this to him. Now, then I start researching it, and they say they're getting rid of it in the middle of 2024, which is right now. So somebody, after a 27-year run, has decided enough with the CPR. We're not going to print it on the cars anymore, which makes sense. I just want to know, it's sort of like, I feel the same way about when UPS launched your campaign. What can Brown do for you? I went, okay, there had to be a large group of people. It was a national campaign. Did anyone just raise their hand and go, it kind of makes me think about shit. It just does. It just does. There's got to be something better than what can
How
Brown.
many committees does that dodge and shake? Yeah.
That's my whole point. Did anyone go, CPR is a thing, it stands for something, and we shouldn't do it? Or all we have to do is change the order. Why does courtesy need to be? Put respect first.
I'm so mad how much I connect with this, and I'm going to get tested for hypervigilance disorder.
But do they phase this out? Do they have to remove it from the existing squad cars?
I don't know. And I would say, once you have courtesy and respect, professionalism's kind of built in.
Right.
It's like on the flight, tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detector. You had it. You had tampering. We're good. You got courtesy and respect. That's all part of being respectful. Yeah, that's all part of being professional. So they're getting rid of it. We don't know why, and we don't know how this started.
Make sense.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. But it's been a 27-year run.
Right.
You need to blow the lid off.
I will get on it. I promise you.
Get on it.
I have a couple other matters to discuss with the NYPD.
Yeah, but this jumps to the
future stories. I'll get right.
This one goes right to the top.
I'll find out. I'll find out. I'll get
right to the top of the list. All right. Last subject before we take a break, getting some news here. I had a thought when I was driving here today. You're going to like this one. I keep teeing you up this way, but
I usually do.
Dawson, we revisit it about once a year, but we need that chapter or page from my book talking about Forest Lawn and the motorcycle cop and what we've become. And this is good for you guys, especially Chris with the law enforcement and everything like that. But as I've been talking about, I've been staying in Malibu and I've been driving down PCH and I can no longer see the ocean, which, by the way, is a very enjoyable drive. When people go, oh, man, you're out in Malibu and you're stuck all the way out in Malibu and your commute's like an hour to get over here to the studio and all that kind of stuff. It's true, but when you're staring at the Pacific Ocean...
It's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice. PCH just right along the ocean all the way there. You'll see some dolphins. Right. You'll see some surfers, and whatever. You'll see my favorite dad joke, which is there are the guys on the weird hoverboard things, the electric motor, Ziffy board. They're buzzing around there. there's also one that has a leash on it, and the thing's in the water, and he's hanging onto it on a small surfboard, and the thing is pulling him. It's like an 8-foot leash with some sort of propeller motorized, torpedo in front, and he's hanging on.
He's riding the surfboard.
It's like he's water skiing
awesome.
on a surfboard while this thing pulls him. And if I ever pass that guy with someone in the car, I just look out and I go, look at that guy. And they go, oh, wow. And I go, he's trained the shit out of his dog.
He can swim fast.
That's a dad joke,
Yeah.
So now I can no longer see the ocean because it's nothing but broken down Winnebagos parked all the way along the ocean side. So I am staring at the side of dilapidated, corrugated brown steel with cardboard where the windows were and duct tape, bumper to bumper, all the way down.
Really?
You don't get to see
when did this
the
start?
ocean. You
When
see
did this start?
homeless. It was but
COVID?
Today, I'll answer that question. Today, as I was looking at the sea of corrugated steel that said Winnebago on it, these things are busted down from the 80s. I look to my left, I see traffic cop with radar gun trying to bust taxpayers coming the other direction. Not getting the homeless cleared out. And that's when I realized, and I realized this a long time ago, this is the demise of California and LA. When the cops start busting the taxpayers and turn a blind eye to the flash mobs or the homeless encampments, it's over. You can't do both those things simultaneously. You can't be super, you can't have tons of regulations for taxpayers and zero for people who live outside of the law. But that's where we're at. And so this started, it's very recent. And I don't know that it's like connected to Prop 19 or Senate Bill 27 or anything like that. It's a kind of an evolution. Like I've lived in LA my whole life. There were no homeless, except for Skid Row.
Right.
And you'd hear about it, and they do a news story every once in a while about Skid Row. And you'd see these poor people flopped out on the sidewalk, living in cardboard boxes and stuff. And then I see their Studio City and Encino over here and, the West Side and Santa Monica. And I would always think to myself, if I were homeless, I would just go to Santa Monica. The weather's nicer, It's safer, it's cleaner. Like, as long as you're going to live on a sidewalk,
right.
Pick a nice sidewalk.
Santa Monica, yeah.
Go to Santa Barbara and live. I mean, it was kind of, an extension of a thought like I used to have, sort of for myself, but now for my son. I'm just like, look, if you're going to be a loser and you're just going to get a job as a barista at Starbucks, don't do it in the city of industry. Just move to Santa Barbara, work at the Starbucks in Santa Barbara, get a shitty little apartment, ride your skateboard to it, but you'll be living
in Santa Barbara.
Yeah. And I always said that about the homeless, but they never moved. They just lived in Skid Row. And at some point, they started venturing out and they got smart. They're like, why not live at Venice Beach? Why are we living in Watts?
And if there's no enforcement, then that continues to grow.
And then it started becoming
you'll see crackdowns periodically. Didn't they crack down in Venice Beach?
Yep, they'll do it periodically. And then so they started going, well, look, if I'm going to live in a Winnebago, why is the Winnebago going to be in Sunland or Sun Valley in some dirty, hot place with crime? Why not park it? And I was like, look, the ultimate extension of this thinking is Malibu.
Right.
Let's just go to where Jay-Z and Beyonce just spent $200 million for a house, and who just set the California real estate record, was just set, I think, at $210 million. Okay, you mess around with Sherman Oaks or Encino or Venice Beach, but once you just go to Malibu. That's where
go to the top.
Just go to the top right there. And then somebody went, that's right. That's a good idea. So they all started towing all their trucks. Now, meanwhile, if you are walking on the beach with an open beer,
right,
you will be tackled by federal marshals. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. And if during the pandemic, when they closed the beaches, if you're paddleboarding in the bay, you will have the Coast Guard come in and take you down. But if you'd like to park your Winnebago all along PCH and live there, for free, you may.
You know what city has done a good job with homeless? Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's a model, or could be a model, I think, for the rest of the country. But they've tackled it with some intellectual integrity and some creativity that I have seen in very few other places of the country.
I have heard about this.
And it involves affordable housing, obviously some government assistance for people who are, dislocated for whatever combination of reasons. But it's working. And they see far less of the issue that we see in L.A. or New York. I mean, I see it in New York. Our apartment's in Midtown, right? So you get a little bit of everything. You've got some of the richest people in the world. You've got some of the poorest people in the world. And you've got the confluence of tourists from around the world. And so anybody who seeks to take advantage of any of that usually goes into Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
And so it's an issue there. I mean, if you own a restaurant and you've got people camped out all around it, brushing their teeth and hanging out in various states of undress, that's a problem for your restaurant.
I completely concur. And the answer to this question, which I posed, I said it here before, so I'll make it fast, but I was vexed because Malibu, they don't put up with shit in Malibu, just like Beverly Hills doesn't put up with shit.
Exactly.
There's no homelessness in Beverly Hills because Beverly Hills doesn't allow it. They just go, sorry, we don't do it. And it's just like cities can do that. When Newsom closed all the beaches, all the Orange County beaches were like, fuck right off, Governor Hairchild. We're leaving our beaches open. And the sheriff went, I'm not enforcing any of this shit. So the point is you can do what you want. You just have to defy the assholes. So I said to a guy who knows everything about Malibu, who's on the board and the blah, 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 because Malibu doesn't put up with shit. They don't really put up with homeless people walking around. They don't put up with graffiti. Like all the ills of all the other, they're like, Jay-Z and Beyonce live here. It's $200 million. They pay property taxes. We're not putting up with this shit. The guy said, PCH is not Malibu. It's the state of California.
Got it.
It's Pacific Coast Highway, which is run by California. So you get a strip of California running through Malibu, which is incorporated, but they don't have dominion over the highway. So Malibu isn't putting up with it. This is California doing it. And Malibu,
so the state would have to enforce
the state
action.
And the state won't do anything. So now your view is busted up Winnebagos when you drive down PCH. And they've proliferated because they always proliferate because you're dealing with real estate that is, I was looking, there was like a small condo and a multi-unit, 40-unit building, but it was up at the top and it was on the end and it on the corner.
This is not like the
view.
Rockford Files, where they had
this is not. This is not Mel Gibson from
Lethal Weapon,
Lethal Weapon, or Jim Rockford.
I like Jim Rockford.
I like Jim too. Yeah. Good theme. The real estate there. It was a 1,200 square foot condo. 1,200 square foot condo, smaller size condo, $7 million. Because it was $5,000 a square foot. So, like I said, $1,000 a square foot. It's a very expensive home. This is $5,000 a square foot because it's on.
Right.
It's there. So
on the coast.
The guy's Winnebago. That land is $4 million. The guy's parked on living for free with no taxes and no anything.
I don't understand.
Those guys are geniuses, by the way. Like
but at some point, the state's got to. I mean, common sense. You would think would prevail.
At some point,
right?
All right, and at some point, Richard Dreyfuss's uncle got let off that island. At some point.
Well,
but first, Adam had to suffer.
A crime he didn't commit.
He's framed
for a crime.
He didn't commit.
That's all how you say it.
It is. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Well, you found? Let's see. What do we found?
I found the forest lawn.
Oh, well, what year did I write this? Just because I like to roll my own filth.
This is from Everything Reminds Me of Something.
Oh, it is. I always think it's from earlier.
That's why it took me so long to find.
Oh, that's why I do it every time. All right, this is from a book a few years ago, but here we go, Dawson. I think this will explain it.
California, and Los Angeles specifically, doesn't enforce the. Well, let me go back. Sorry. So Someone should have told him we already have a law against leaf blowers. It just wasn't enforced because we don't like the optics. California, and Los Angeles specifically, doesn't enforce these laws because it's poor brown people being paid by rich white people to use these devices. The only people making a living with a leaf blower are Hispanic, and that's the Democrats' constituency. And as I know I've said before, they're empty bags. There's no money to wring out of the poor Latinos selling flowers on Forest Lawn.
Just start. You could start at the Forest Lawn part, probably.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You didn't want to hear me read a whole bunch?
About leaf blowers? Not really.
Sorry,
that's just we weren't talking about.
Yeah.
Mayhem got confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no money to wring out of the poor Latinos selling flowers on Forest Lawn Drive, but plenty to get from the guy driving the Lexus a little too fast on that same street. Good enough. There you go.
Wow. I swear I did more of that somewhere, but we'll find it. We'll find it. All right. We'll take a break. Mayhem's got some news, and we'll do that right after this. Stamps.com. Work-life balance. Yeah, got to have both these days. Well, when you do what you love, you never work a day. That's kind of what I do. You want to free up some precious time? You don't want to spend it waiting in line, mailing and shipping. No, it's tedious. Get Stamps.com. Take care of mailing and shipping wherever you are with the Stamps.com mobile app. All you need is a computer and a printer. Schedule pickups right through the dashboard. That's right. And that's how we do it here. All the merch, all the stuff we send out goes through Stamps.com. They even send you a scale. Order shipping and mailing supplies, labels, even printers from the supply store when you run low. It is Stamps.com. Put more life into your work because you got to have that work-life balance, and Stamps.com frees you up to do the stuff you want to do and not the stuff you don't want to do. Use promo code ADAM for a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No commitments, no contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and enter the code ADAM. Simply Safe. Imagine a burglary. It's a shady character in the dark, right? Well, according to FBI, most break-ins happen in broad daylight during the summer when homes are unattended. I know. I got pulled over by a cop once who was patrolling an area mornings when everyone left for work, went to school. During the day, that's when people broke in. That's why you need Simply Safe. We've always used Simply Safe here. They've been with us for, I think our longest running sponsor. Fast Protect monitoring, live guard protection. Simply Safe agents can act within 5 seconds and can even see and speak to intruders. The future's here, people. Less than $1 a day. No long-term contracts. Cancel anytime. Protect your home this summer with 20% off your new Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit Simply Safe, 2 I's in there, simplysafe.com/Adam. That's simplysafe.com/Adam. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
The Adam Carolla Show presents Chris Hansen's birthday cocktail party for September 13th. Let's see who's invited. Here's the guy who wrote Robinson Crusoe, Daniel Defoe, American Chocolate Tycoon, Milton S. Hershey just showed up. American Army General and World War I Commander, John Pershing. Let's welcome the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Roald Dahl. American jazz singer Mel Torme is here. Singer and songwriter from the band Chicago. Let's welcome Peter Cetera. From Gimme a Break, it's Nell Carter. From Sister Sledge, Joni Sledge is here. She's family. Megadeth's Dave Mustaine is here. Here's Ringo's son, Zach Starkey. It's the drummer for Jane's Addiction, Stephen Perkins. Tyler Perry is here. Fiona Apple joined the party. It's Fred Savage's little brother, Ben, U.S. Army physician and bacteriologist who proved mosquitoes transmit yellow fever. He's also the namesake of the Ace Man's Middle School, Walter Reed. And everybody, please welcome the cowboy from the Village People, Randy Jones. Chris Hansen is on the Adam Carolla Show.
I did realize, which we're going to Walter Reed, what fuck-ups everyone is all the time, everywhere. It was about 8 years ago, or I can't remember when it was. It was like 8 years ago, and they were doing a whole thing on the RNC, convention. I think it was the RNC convention. And at some point, they said, Walter Reed Naval Hospital, and they showed a picture of my junior high, the outside of it. I'm like, everyone's a fuck up because they get lower tier idiots to go and they go Google image Walter Reed, and my junior high pops up, and then they go, here's a slide, boss. And they go, thanks, put it in the prompter. And that's it. I've been on stage 2,000 times where you look over and you go, oh fuck, what did that person? What? That's us. They pulled up a picture, an exterior front shot
of my
junior high. Yeah,
that's great.
At the RNC. I think it was at the RNC. All right. Mayhem, you got some news lined up?
Yeah, I do. I got some news. First of all, a robot gets a face of living skin that allows it to smile. If humanoid robots make you a bit queasy, would it help if they had fleshy faces to smile at you?
No.
Yeah, the uncanny
It's weirder.
It is. It's a result of a new technology using engineered living skin tissue and human-like ligaments to give robots a more natural smile, according to Tokyo University researchers who unveiled their works this week. In the study, we managed to replicate human appearance to some extent by creating a face with the same surface material and structure as humans.
I mean, it's all coming, right? It only goes one direction.
Skynet.
Sort of, Orwellian future.
Yeah, this is what it looks like right here. I mean,
very human-like.
Yeah, it's coming through. Baloney Man.
Yeah. It reminds me when Kimmel would make his kids pancakes on a Sunday, and he'd put a little happy face with whipped cream and 2 raisins for eyes or something. That's essentially what we're looking at here. And listen, Kimmel, I love you, but all the dads who are great dads, play it a little closer to the vest. Don't put it up on the internet. Because all that ever happens, and whatever woman I'm with looks at it and goes, you would never do that.
You're making us all look bad.
Maybe you're right, but okay. But you didn't have to know he does that, but now you know.
Yeah, they're saying this biomimetic. I guess that's a new term for it. Biomimetic robots can become more realistic with thicker skin. They're gonna have like full faces soon. So,
it's all gonna just turn into sex robots, right?
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
women, you're on the clock.
They are,
because once the technology gets good enough, you're out. I'm gonna say it. You're out. You're done with all the stuff. You're nobody's maid. You're nobody's wet nurse. You're nobody's anything. Chauffeur. You're nobody's anything anymore. All right. Once we get you in the sex department, that'll be it.
I think you got some time based upon this, though.
Yeah, I mean weeks at least. I don't know.
Look, any woman over 35, you're fine. But if you got a daughter, she's on the clock. You're going to be obsolete.
I want my baloney girlfriend.
Yeah, this is not, we're not there yet. But also, you take a look at what the Wright brothers, let's forget about the Wright brothers. Let's take a look at a military-grade aircraft from World War I.
Yeah.
Okay, and you picture the canvas stretched over the wood and so forth, an engine, air-cooled, spitting out oil and gas, flames
in
and
the
gas
air
and stuff. In the air, in the air. And you go from World War I, say 1919, and you're picturing the Swarthmore camel with the wooden spokes in the wheels and stuff like that, right?
Scarf,
canvas, and a scarf, and the whole thing.
Not pressurized.
Oh, head hanging out,
Open
goggles,
air.
right? All right, and guys dropping bombs by holding bombs.
Yeah.
And dropping them on stuff. Okay, fast forward 20 years.
Yeah.
22, 23 years. P-47 Mustang. Aluminum clad.
Yeah.
Inline Rolls Royce.
And churning them out at the Ford factory in Detroit like nobody's business.
Yeah. Not the P-51, sorry.
A-10 Thunderbolt 2?
They did the bombers at Willow Run.
Right, Willow Run.
But either way, churning them out. It's top speed of 500 miles an hour.
Yeah.
pressurized, the whole 9 yards. Got a Gatling gun in the propeller, basically in the nose of the thing, shooting down Nazis and Stukas. Okay, fast forward 20 years from then, you're in Vietnam. You got F4s and A4s, and they're flying supersonic now, firing heat-seeking missiles off the side with no propeller, jet. They're hit. MiGs are going by at 800 miles an hour. They're firing their Gatling guns. That didn't take that long.
Yeah.
No.
Ladies, we're going to have a sex robot real soon. Real soon. Because this is dudes, and we're motivated, even more so than winning a war. I'd say the sex robots, those guys, heavily motivated. I'm just saying, you're on the clock.
It's coming.
It's coming. And so are we. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's a nice segue. And Sharon Stone says Kevin Spacey got more hate for Scandal because he's gay.
Well, Chris,
This is an interesting question.
I don't want to be naive, but there are certain guys, they just had this thing with Jonathan Majors, and he was assault and whatever. And it's like, I'm watching film of his drunken girlfriend chase him down the street, and then I'm seeing one where they're like wrestling, arguing. He's trying to push her in the back of an Uber or something like that. And I'm saying it's unpopular, but I'm not sure what he did. I'm not exactly sure what he did. And the Spacey thing, like, I know there's been a lot of accusations, but I don't know. He's at a restaurant. The guy comes by and brings him an iced tea. He pinches his ass. Like, what are there's more allegations, but what are they?
Well, I think the allegations that we've seen have all been in civil suits, right?
Right.
And they have resulted in either settlements or him being found not responsible. But I think it appears to me, and I've not investigated this journalistically, but it appears, watching it, that, it's boorish, bad behavior, but I don't know that it rises to a level of criminality.
And I said this before Sharon Stone said this, which is, I think he's being not unduly punished, but punished to a greater extent because he's doing it with boys rather than women, and that adds a weird papillon in the infirmary element that makes us go, oh, like we get a little weirded out by it, and he gets a little harsher treatment in society.
Think, and because he is a celebrity, I think anytime you get an alleged glimpse into somebody's personal life, and it's arguably somewhat sordid, I think it captivates people's attention. And I also think that somebody in that position becomes a target of civil suits, knowing there's the potential for a settlement and an easy walkaway. So, and again, the allegations that I've seen, you may say it's creepy, it's wrong, it's boorish, but I didn't see much of it as underaged.
Right.
It was younger guys, but I'm going through the allegations that I'm aware of, and I don't know. I mean, I know there were some cases in the UK where he was criminally prosecuted.
Yeah, he was
found not guilty.
acquitted
He was
on
acquitted,
all 9 charges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Sharon. I've never said in my life, no one's ever said the phrase, I agree with Sharon Stone out loud.
No.
But
never been uttered.
The
But
first.
you have.
I'm going to be the first
Clip that.
American to say the phrase, this combination of words have never been put together.
Yeah, but don't let her
I
do your
agree
birthday
with
party
Sharon's,
with the giant lizard, though. Remember? The husband got bit on the toes? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Her husband.
Then husband.
Oh, you know this one, man?
No, not at all.
It's awesome.
The poor guy almost died. And all she
awesome.
was doing was trying to do something cool. But he was, I forget his name, but wasn't he the publisher of the San Francisco Chronicle?
He was an editor, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a newspaper editor.
Good guy. And
Good
they had
guy.
this big birthday party for him. And they had one of those kimono dragons.
What?
They were at like I don't know, it was the zoo or some
a dangerous animal.
lizard.
Yeah, so
and he got bit on the toe, right?
She as a gift for him.
What?
Yeah, because Party Pals is not going to bring over an 11-foot dragon.
Not a kimono
You
dragon.
got to
Yeah.
purchase one of those.
He got a tour of the zoo. Maybe it was the LA Zoo. I can't remember the zoo.
After hours.
Yeah, there you go. Look, you want to pay a little extra? It's like when Elton John wants to go shopping.
Right.
Pay
It's
a
a
little
VIP
extra.
thing,
We'll close the Harrods down. You can go shopping. So she takes him to go see the kimono dragon, who are you know, they don't really recognize celebrity. Most reptiles don't.
They recognize fear is what they recognize.
Fear and feet. Those are the two things they
Did
recognize.
it take a bite out of his toe or something?
That's why I said feet.
Clipped it, yeah.
Yeah, clipped his toe.
Oh, my God.
And Phil Bronstein.
Yeah.
And he either, I don't know if he lost a toe or he
got very sick.
Well, those things have venom.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know that they call it a dragon because it's a dangerous animal.
It's a kimono dragon. It lives on a certain Galapagos island or something like that. We put one in a zoo. He was unhappy about being removed from his relatives. Evidently, he did not recognize Sharon Stone's celebrity.
Or a famous journalist.
He was visiting the zoo, and they're giving a private tour for his birthday.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fine how do you do.
Yeah.
No pinata.
I think he was in the hospital for like weeks.
Yeah.
Trying to get over the kimono dragon nip. It wasn't even a big bite. And you've seen in the James Bond movies, this is one of these things will devour you.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a criminal.
Yeah, if you're a criminal.
Or
celebrity.
I'm wearing steel toes if I go see komodos.
Yeah, you know what? I'm wearing my work boots.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of the glass.
Steel
there
toe,
he is. He's right over there.
steel shank, oil-resistant sole, all the good stuff. All the stuff. I don't know. Evidently, there's a big problem with standing in oil in the 70s because every work boot was like steel toe, steel shank, oil-resistant sole. Like, yeah, it's a big problem with oil.
Got to have a
Everyone's
Vibram
standing
sole.
in oil. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was a Father's Day gift. He wanted to see a kimono dragon.
Wow.
But we still don't know what zoo it was, but I'm
up close
guessing
and
L.A. or San Diego. And they nipped his toe, and they got him. L.A. Zoo.
He didn't lose a toe? Like, it's a very shocking that you would even have that.
If you get bit by one of these things, it's like getting bit by a rabies-infected coyote or something. Like, you gotta you gotta go to the hospital. You can't take a couple of Tylenol and sleep it off. And I don't know if he lost. There was a problem.
He was in for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. She should have got him a watch.
Watches are good. Watches are good. You know, maybe a private dinner party someplace.
But anyway,
there's the latest.
I agree with Sharon Stone. That's what I have to say about this story.
Justice Sotomayor's bodyguard shoots suspected carjacker outside her home.
Yeah. She's still angry about guns, or she like it when good guys have guns?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Two deputy U.S. Marshals thought to be guarding Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor home in Washington, D.C., shot a suspected carjacker who pulled out a gun last week. The U.S. Marshal's Office said the suspect, 18-year-old Kentrell Flowers, allegedly walked up on one of the deputies' cars at around 1:15 a.m. on July 5th and pointed a gun at the bodyguard. The marshal fired 4 shots, hitting Flowers in the mouth.
The mouth!
Flowers was taken to the hospital for treatment and arrested. The deputy U.S. Marshal involved in the shooting incident were part of the unit protecting the residences of the Supreme Court justices. As general practice, the U.S. Marshals don't discuss specifics of protective details. Abigail Myers, a spokesperson for the U.S. Marshal Service, said in a statement to The Hill.
It'd be nice if she wasn't a fucking dingbat, because it would help, you know? Like we do this DEI shit where we go, we need more women, Latino, and women of color and whatever, which is helpful, except for when they turn out to be shit show dingbats, and then it sets the movement back. She is a fucking dingbat, and it sets the movement back. She is the one who got up there when they were talking about having OSHA do vax mandates and have everybody work for the federal government. Everyone went to high school, and everyone who was in the military. Anyway, any business had more 99 employees or whatever. Federally mandated to get a vaccination, and she was up there screaming to do it. She, by the way, never stops talking about democracy, except for she's fine with federal mandates to be experimental vaccines for people who don't need it. That she's fine with. And then she's up there talking about 100,000 kids on ventilators, which didn't exist. Ventilators don't work. I assume she's lying. Turns out she's a dingbat. But I'm just telling everyone, whether it's Sotomayor or whether it's Kamala Harris, when you get nutty dingbats in these positions, it doesn't move. It's not progress. It actually hurts. Like if you go, we got to get a trans black Asian airline pilot, and that guy flies the plane into a volcano. it hurts the progress. That's what I'm saying. She said fucking dingbat, and it's hurting the process. You see, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember. What was her thing on ventilators? Like, she was lying or got misinformation or whatever it is. But anyway, listen, I'm glad she didn't get her car jacked, but she's still fucking dingbat. We have over 100,000 children, which have never had before, in serious condition. It killed no healthy children. Yeah. No healthy children. But she says there's 100,000. So what she's basically saying is I'm in a position that's very powerful, and I can lie because they're in very serious condition, and many more on ventilators. I will then lie and then force you, who are healthy, to get a vaccination you don't need. That's what I'll do with my position of power. Thanks, dingbat.
This kind of thing, though, seems like kind of like my mom effect.
Yes.
Where, like, because of our hyper-propagandized moments that we're in, whatever you see on Facebook that morning, my mom...
But you're in the Supreme Court.
Exactly,
Mayhem Miller's a born-again nut job, living in Florida, disowned her son. I don't know. Not you, your brother. Hey, can I pose this? Here's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
I think you're both uniquely qualified to answer this. I was thinking, we were talking about Spacey and working on dudes versus heterosexual stuff and how he's getting a little extra scrutiny and punishment because there's a factor to it. Think about, okay, now Baldwin trial's going on. Baldwin, rich dude, and Baldwin shoots attractive blonde woman.
Yeah.
We're throwing the book at him. It was clearly a mistake, whatever, but we're throwing the book at him. But what if it was a role and it wasn't Baldwin? Jennifer Garner. And Jennifer Garner shot a male director, shot James Gunn. I don't think we'd care as much. Well, I don't think we'd make as big a deal out of it.
I think there's a point of it. Look, obviously, Alec Baldwin is a lightning rod figure for a lot of different reasons. He can be volatile with the press. I've only met him once or twice. He's very pleasant to me. But, that's not, necessarily an accurate assessment of it. But you still had a situation where a guy who's an actor was given a gun and he was told that it did not contain live ammunition. So whether he pulled the trigger or cocked the hammer or anything else, the gun was supposed to be
a prop. With nothing in it.
And by firing it, unless you put it there and the compression blew a hole in your head, by firing it shouldn't have hurt anyone.
You know that happened to?
John Eric Heckstrom.
We should have a beer, Chris. Because we could sit and just take dive deeps on Komodo dragons and guys who kill themselves with prop guns.
Where the plane was built, but normally I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, Willow Run. Yeah, but that's the point. I fill in your gaps. Exactly. You fill in my gaps. You know what I mean?
I know a lot of stuff.
But point is, I think the point you're making, though, women don't get busted. Don't go to jail.
I'm saying the court of public opinion, if it's Jennifer Garner and she shot some male director, we would say the poor person made a mistake. Leave her alone. I'm sure she's heartbroken by the whole thing.
I predict that he is found not guilty.
Yeah, I do too.
Because they've ruled that they can't enter into evidence that he was one of the film's producers.
Yes.
And by that, having overall responsibility for safety on set.
So
once you pull that out.
John Eric Hexum was a male model turned actor in the 80s who was fucking around on a set.
Yeah.
And he took a gun with a blank and he put it up to his temple and he pulled the trigger and it killed him with a blank. The concussion.
Well, the concussion just
killed him. Yeah.
And he was a Detroit guy. And he used to go on Kelly and Company, which was the local talk show in the morning. John and Marilyn Kelly.
How do you know so much?
Because I worked at Channel 7. I'm from Detroit.
Oh, that's the Hexum reference.
Yeah. So
you think you would have got Willow Run.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad about that still. I'll go to the grave feeling bad about that. But yeah, a handsome kid, used to go on the show all the time and had crossed his path because I was a reporter at Channel 7 Action News from 1984 to 1988.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good-looking model. There was speculation. Did he kill himself or was he screwing around?
I think everything I heard, he was just goofing around and didn't think
he was going to be. He was going to be the next Tom Selleck, is who he was going to be. Good-looking, well-built guy, on his way with the looks and the charm.
And they loved having him on Killing Company because he was a hometown boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gone. Too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon. Just like another woman swallowed whole by a python in Indonesia. A woman was found dead inside the belly of a snake after it swallowed her whole in central Indonesia last week, police said.
That's an Indonesian. See, Americans are too fat to be swallowed by pythons. Have you ever seen, like, have you been to the mall?
Yeah.
You know, or Disneyland lately, or Kmart?
We're a heavy people. We're proud.
Pythons would be like, no.
That's too much.
That's too much.
Or pythons would just develop into the most monstrous. They'd be so big.
Well, you know,
pythons.
have you
like
heard
that
about
Jennifer
the pythons?
Lopez movie?
The pythons in Florida?
No.
Oh, they're
getting there.
Yeah, they're populating exponentially.
Right.
Now,
Florida.
It's a whole cottage industry of people hunting the python.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they put trackers in like the animals the pythons like to eat, raccoons and other vermin type things. And so when they eat the smaller animal, they can track the.
So they're just air
so they
tagging
hunt
vermin.
Yeah, so they've taken over the Everglades. They're not
Really?
indigenous to the Everglades. Yeah, it's a problem.
It's insane how big they get.
They're
isn't
giant,
it?
and these guys make good money hunting the pythons. There's a bounty on every one.
Yeah, like Nutria. We were talking about that on the show the other day. Is it? And they must. I bet they use the meat. I bet they use the skin.
The skin, yeah, I don't know about the meat. I mean, I know it's snakes. They have, rattlesnake chili or whatever.
I mean, everything. You can turn anything into jerky at least.
Yeah, kangaroo.
And there's enough people that'll eat enough shit.
I don't know why kangaroo meat bothers me. It shouldn't. It's just another animal.
They're cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. My son and I were driving in northern Michigan. We stopped at the beef jerky place and got all kinds. And I'm eating it as I'm driving. And he's, of course, looking through the ingredients. And he comes across kangaroo. And it was oddly disturbing to me.
I agree.
Well, because they're
unsettling.
cute and they're easy to anthropomorphize.
Yeah, but they're violent too.
Yeah.
You ever see a kangaroo take off on
They're
something?
humans. Yeah, they're like humans that
big
like
muscles,
pick the
they're
wrong
built,
direction.
They like lift weights and stuff.
And they're.
It's almost like the robots.
I was.
I mean, I wonder if they use kangaroos and they put human faces on that. That would be disturbing.
Ladies, I mean.
Yeah.
All right. I was thinking about.
Sorry to bring that up.
I had this concept.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice.
Once about a kangaroo, marsupials, and the kid living in the pouch,
Yeah.
And then I was picturing all these assholes that are living at home at age 34, like, Mom, do my laundry. You know what I mean? And I was picturing the baby kangaroo who didn't want to leave the pouch.
Yeah.
Like they say in Italy, that men don't ever leave. Their sons are 40 and mom's still cooking them dinner, doing the laundry.
Good over there.
Right. I was picturing the ne'er-do-well kangaroo who is now 31 and still living in his mom's pouch, smoking pot, taking a few classes at the junior college, you know what I mean, but never moved out of the pouch. Just
Genius.
the concept.
Genius.
All right. Well, wait. What were we talking about?
Python attacks.
Pythons.
I mean, that
Florida.
one. Yeah, that one just happened. There's
Snakes, pythons
been a
scare
lot.
me.
There's
Yeah,
been
I've
a
never
lot.
been a snake fan. I did one time, and I forgot. I must have blocked this out of my mind, but one of the kids was having a birthday party, 6, 7 maybe, and we had one of those companies come over with the animals.
Yeah,
and
they
there's a
brought the
picture that
kimono
exists
dragon by.
of me with a snake around my
Around your neck.
which I totally I saw it. It was me.
Yeah.
I know it was me. It was a snake. Clearly, it wasn't a fake snake.
Britney
Right.
Spears.
Something
Yeah,
possessed me
Britney
to put this
Spears.
around my neck. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Maybe we had a keg for that party.
dangerous. It's a pretty dangerous way
Some dad
to go
juice.
out.
6-year-old kegger. I like it.
Yeah, so in 2022, a woman in Indonesia was.
Oh, wait a minute. They do call the feathered garment you put around your neck a boa.
boa.
Yeah.
As in boa constrictor?
Yeah.
There's got to be some background on that. There's
Well, it
some type
looks
of
like
way.
a snake, right?
Yeah.
So then you drape it over your neck, which is where you wouldn't want to put a boa
No.
constrictor, but that's called a feather boa.
That has to be the entomology.
Yes. All right, sorry. What were you talking about?
Hell if I know. The reticulated python. It's like
get through a
the
story.
longest snake in the world.
They must make snake jerky. I mean, if you can eat a rattlesnake,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
can
they
eat a
gotta have
python.
It's got to be
right?
a cottage industry down
Yeah.
there in Florida where they're chopping up snake jerky. I
They're
used
definitely
to.
making boots, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I used to belong to the exotic meat of the week club.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, where you could just get crocodile and this kind of.
So did Kevin
nice.
Spacey. But.
Yeah, apparently. Oh,
yeah. There it is.
There we go.
Python jerky.
Yeah.
Yep. Hell yeah. All right. Gotta
By the
order
way,
that.
if I owned a jerky manufacturing plant,
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, we got Mayhem. He signed up for the exotic jerky of the month. So what do we got here? Well, what's this month? Kangaroo. All right, just do the turkey.
Yeah.
What's next month? Python. Give him the turkey. I would just label.
Right.
It would be the same turkey, a slightly different color.
Yeah.
I would dye it a little different color so you didn't catch on.
Add some salt.
Add a little something, but I would not go out and harvest python and kangaroo and buffalo and like all the expense, emu. I would just do turkey. I would do a little different season and a little different color, and nobody would be the
Have you
wiser.
ever been to a Buc-ee's?
No. Oh. What's that?
So Buc-ee's is a predominantly southern gas station, essentially, but a gas station on steroids. They have sandwiches, brisket sandwiches that are delicious, and they have an entire. They have. Yeah, that's it. And we had done a shoot down in Alabama, and I stopped in one for the first time. And everybody's talking about it. You can get cowboy hats, you can get clothing, you can get Buc-ee's this, Buc-ee's that, coffee, full meal, and they have an entire section dedicated to jerky.
Yeah.
Like a butcher counter. And they let you sample it. And I spent a whole afternoon there. I didn't want to leave. The cleanest restrooms in the world. Now, the rest areas, the gas stations in Italy are quite something because you can get all kinds of fancy coffees and wine and a pasta and a sandwich. It's unbelievable. This,
Buc-ee's.
for America,
Stateside.
Buc-ee's, yeah, it's quite incredible.
So exotic meat of the month.
Yeah.
Was it?
Ostrich.
We're getting fillets or patties or what?
They'll
we
just send you some random. I know it was pretty wild. Like you just get like a box of meat that's like, assorted delicacies from all over the world.
And what's a good one that we're missing? Like shark steaks are good.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
instance.
I've had shark. Shark should.
What is one that stood out that we're missing out on?
There's a reason they're exotic, and there's a reason they're not mainstream. They're all a bit gamey, and they're
Right.
all, there's a reason that you have to sign up to this special and not just go down to Gelson's.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, nothing's going to beat the ribs or filet mignon.
It really doesn't. I think us as humans have figured it out.
Yes.
Yeah, we figured
Agreed.
out ribs are great, and
Yes.
alligator is so.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then with the one where they go, oh, if you close your eyes, it kind of
I
tastes
don't wanna
like.
close my eyes. I
I'm
wanna
like,
see what I'm
are
doing.
we out of this thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if as long as they're still cows, then I don't want to close my eyes and pretend this alligator's a cow. I'll just go get a cow.
Right.
Yeah.
So Bronstein, or whatever his name is, who got his toes, did he get his toes bitten off?
Yeah, that's the
Or
big-
did he just get his foot bit and he got a bad infection and he had to be in the hospital? Because Chris and I are both remembering
I think
a
it's the
stint in the
latter.
hospital. He got a bad.
I think it's the latter.
You gotta-
I remember being shocked at the story because it was a nick. Like it wasn't like
he didn't get it
the
that
whole
bad.
point of a Komodo dragon is they have a crazy,
Right.
nasty mouth
Right.
that like they shock their prey with this venom, and that's how they consume you is because they have this disgusting
And
mouth.
then what's up with the official at the LA Zoo who's you got to have a guide. You need
Wrangler.
a Sherpa.
You should not be in the pit with the Komodo dragon.
I need a dude with khaki shorts
Right.
protecting me at all times.
Better yet, a lesbian
Yeah, there we go. You're right.
with
yeah.
the calves, the khakis.
Nah, they them. I
Can
need
I-
a they them blocking it.
Can I ask you guys both this? Now, people think I'm a bad person for this.
What?
They think I'm a bad person, but let's really just break it down, okay? I used to go to the LA Zoo. You go there when you're a kid.
Right.
When you have a kid or you are a kid.
Right.
There's no, if you're single and you're 30, you got to talk to Chris Hansen. You got no
I'm gonna
business.
get you. Yeah.
If you're at the LA Zoo solo as a 31-year-old dude, you're cruising. Or if you're watching T-ball and you're not involved with anybody on the
Yeah,
field.
no, that's a bad.
That's another, that's a marker.
Yeah.
All right. So you go to the LA Zoo And then at some point, especially when you have like a 7-year-old boy, they want to go to the reptile department because young boys love the snakes and the iguanas and all the horny tree frogs and the horny toads and the tree frogs and all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. Geckos, everything else. We're with me, right? They have these glass terrariums, and you go and you walk through and you see them in their natural habitat. Right. Unfortunately, all of the tree toads and the tree snakes and the horny toads and the geckos are all masters of blending in with their environment. So here it is, this leaf green tree toad in amongst all the leaf greens and the green background. And then you stand there and you just stare and you go, where's the toad? I think I saw an eye. I think an eye was blinking at me. And then they go, no, he's behind the water thing. Maybe is he behind? And you just stand there drooling for long periods of time, because you can't spot the thing because it's evolved over 2 million years to look exactly like everything that's in its environment. Like the stupid, stick or the twig beetle that looks exactly like a twig that's on the tree twig. Yes, Darwin, Jesus Christ, the Almighty, Allah, whoever it is, has seen fit to make these things look exactly. Listen, LA Zoo, I paid good money.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a headache trying to find this goddamn tree toad. White background. Fuck it. He's living in an aquarium. He's being fed dead crickets by a lesbian. He knows where he is. This is not his environment. He knows he's not in the rainforest. Yeah. He knows it. He knows where he is. He's captive. He's being hand-fed by a lesbian.
We got into a whole...
Put a white background on there. So light him up.
Why are you teasing him with the veneer of his environment?
Maybe he would enjoy it. You know what I mean? I'm bringing pleasure.
We were having dinner with our youngest the other day.
Do we agree?
I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Do you remember the case of the gorilla that took the little kid?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And was
Harambe, rest in peace.
They had to kill Harambe.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, they had no choice.
They didn't have to,
well, I don't know.
But they did.
Yeah. Well, you got a toddler. If it's your toddler,
bastards. I'll never let it down.
I'll never let it go.
Do you remember watching that video? The poor child is being dragged up and down, and it's like, what's he going to do next? And
I don't know. Was he though? I feel like he just got arm dragged. You know what I mean?
But can you take that chance? What if he kills the kid and you didn't put Harambe down? Then you're going to pay for that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I don't have strong feelings about Harambe.
I do.
I have very strong feelings about these habitats.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the kid.
Yeah, come on. This is like just an arm drag. He let him. He was protecting him.
Who's the parent that let the kid into the Harambe?
You know what? They should have shot her too.
Well, that was actually Sharon Stone.
I agree with Sharon.
You got to read the whole story.
We've come full circle.
Gorilla's got forearms like Steve Garvey, man.
And just glutes. I mean, this guy is stacked.
He's in great shape.
Great shape.
He's juicing.
Deadlifts.
You know he's juicing.
You know he's on the gear.
What is going through that poor child's mind? It's like, oh.
No. I think he saw The Lion King and is probably like delighted.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Or Jungle Book or something. The kid doesn't know.
Yeah.
And what they do? Just shoot him with a gun?
I think they did.
Just
they
gun.
They didn't want to trust the,
no ceremony. Just a straight, you know what I mean?
All right. I don't know what to think, but I will tell you, at the Reptile Museum, white sheet, I want to see everything.
Yeah.
I want to see it all.
Wouldn't they turn white? Or would that take a
It would take millions of years for that green tree toad to turn white. And then when it did,
generations.
The day it happened, we swap out the white background for
green.
Got
3 more generations of
green. And then the white toad is like, ay. 2 million years of evolution. And this bitch switches the sheet out that afternoon. All right, everybody, swab it back. We're going back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what would happen.
Get your mind right.
Get your mind right. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up, do a little more talk right after this. Rosetta Stone. My kids are heading off to college soon, and they're going to want to travel around. And, well, they're going to have to learn a new language wherever they go. Rosetta Stone. That's the way to do it. The most trusted language learning program available on desktop or as an app. It truly immerses you in the language that you're learning. 30 years, millions of users. They can't all be lying, right? They love Rosetta Stone. 25 languages, Spanish, French, Italian, German, Korean, Chinese, Arabic, it's all there. Designed for long-term retention. No English translations. Learn to speak, listen, and think in that language. Plus, the built-in true accent feature gives you feedback on your pronunciations. It's Rosetta Stone, and you can get a lifetime membership in all 25 languages for 50% off. Take it away, Dawson.
Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. For a very limited time, Adam Carolla Show listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/Adam. That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/Adam today. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace Man, James from Las Vegas. Let's talk about the shit show that is the Cybertruck. Man, that thing is a real piece of work. Not a real truck by any stretch. Love to know your feelings on it. Mahalo.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Jason Mayhem Miller in studio, and Chris Hansen here as well. I was talking about Cybertruck. I told people I was delighted to see the Cybertruck filled with 2x4s coming down the street on a Home Depot run the other day. I thought it was a good sign. You know what the best sign I saw for Tesla was? If I could say to Elon, I got some really good news about Tesla.
Right.
Because it's like there's a thing sometimes, like if you're on a popular TV show or a TV show, and you kind of go, well, you could look at overnight ratings or Nielsen ratings or something, but really the best thing you could do is walk into a bar and have it on the TV.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Or go through an airport, someone's wearing a T-shirt with their shit on it or something. Those moments are like, oh, yeah, you've arrived.
Absolutely, yeah.
The day I saw a guy smoking in a Tesla, I was like, oh, it's ubiquitous now. There's an Armenian guy, it's in Glendale, and he's just sitting in his Tesla, and that's like, it's now a regular car. It's not a novelty, one-off, whatever, rich guy, tree hugger. This guy's just some Armenian dude smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, it has now gotten to everybody.
Do you know what my real problem is with the Tesla, the basic level Tesla?
Sorry, Joe, look at the capacity on a Cybertruck, payload-wise, towing and payload, and then a Ford F-250. Sorry, go ahead.
They now use them as Uber cars for Uber Black in New York City. The basic
truck?
level. No. The
good.
basic level Tesla.
Sorry.
The truck I would do just to get a picture with. You know?
Yeah, right.
But the suspension on these things.
Yeah.
It's like driving in a go-kart, in the back of a go-kart.
Yeah, I just
to get to
was in one.
JFK or LaGuardia. And it's gotten so bad to the point where if I see one show up, I'll cancel it and keep reordering until I get the SUV.
La-di-da.
It's that uncomfortable.
I want to write a book called What Black People Think White People Talk About All Day, and I will include this conversation. I see a Tesla to get to LaGuardia. Are you kidding me?
They're uncomfortable.
I agree. No, I was just
and
just
by the
in the
way,
back one.
Uber is not cheap in New York City.
No.
It's not cheap here either, but I mean, it's
It is not. So the payload, or you got to write towing, you got to write payload. I got Tesla Cybertruck 1,100 pounds and a Ford F-250 1380 to 22, but I don't have anything about towing or payload or what you put in the back of it versus anything on my screen. So we'll figure that out. But the point is this. I was looking at a Cybertruck. It was filled with 2x4s, and I liked it. And then somebody tweeted me a picture of a Cybertruck with a lumber rack on it, and I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. But I will say this: contractors who buff out their trucks,
right?
They have trucks. Oh, this is towing, so it's 1,100 pounds worth of towing. Oh, you could tow your Winnebago to PCH and annoy the fuck out of Adam Carolla when he's trying to enjoy the scenic beauty of the ocean. And so the Ford tows quite a bit more. I will tell you, as a guy who does a fair bit of towing, because I do have a lot of race cars to tow around and stuff like that, you don't really need that much. A race car's 2,500, maybe 3,000 pounds. A nice aluminum trailer's 2,000 pounds. You're up at 5,000 pounds together. Anything you can do it in a Subaru, like pretty much. Just the Grapevine's a little tough when you're heading to Laguna Seca. But I will tell this to contractors: a lot of guys, you can spend $100,000 on a truck, no problem these days. You can get the Ford F-250 Harley Davidson version or the Evel Knievel version, or you can get the Dodge TRX, or you can get the Cyclone Raptor, whatever. You can drop $100,000 on a truck, no problemo in today's world. As a homeowner, when I call you to come over and give an estimate, I had a guy pull up to do blown insulation, blown cellulose insulation estimate. Pulls up in a fully loaded Humvee with like 24-inch triple chrome rims, canary yellow, and I'm like, this guy's making way too much margin. He's making way too much goddamn money. So he's out because he shouldn't be able to afford this truck. Now, look, he wants to drive Ford F-150, whatever, fine, 4 years old, whatever. Do not pull up in an $86,000 rig. Or leave it at home, have your beater to pull up on, and then the homeowner will be more secure. Feel the same way.
I agree.
About the veterinarian's office. When the veterinarian's office sees the Mercedes pull up and the chick dressed to the nines with the Gucci bag and the hair done upright, crying, bringing the dog in, oh, here we go, baby. It's gouging time. Now, if you're smart, you find a homeless guy, you tie some lamp cord around the guy.
The dog.
Around the dog, you have the homeless guy drag it in, and he goes, I just found it this way, dude. Seemed like suffering. And you crack a beer, and you just have that guy just standing. Pay that guy $100, he'll do it. You will get a steep discount on the price of the surgery. Very steep. Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
Or am I right?
I think you're right.
You think so? I'm right.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of chicks, let me ask this. You guys, I need your input. It could be it might be a little controversial, but I don't think it's going to be that controversial. I was driving here down PCH, and once I cleared the jungle of corrugated tin, it opened up. And when it opened up, well, actually, the thing that's funny is when it opened up is when the city parking lots started showing up for the beach, meaning you got to pay $22 to park here. No Winnebago gets to park in the city parking lot and camp. They'll tow that shit because you owe us $18, you know. So once it up, and I'm watching down PCH, I'm watching the walk, you know, the trail, the people on mountain bikes and rollerblading and whatnot. Notice from a distance, skinny, hot-looking chick, because she's got the Lululemons, got the yoga pants and the sports bra on. Right? And she's jogging this way, and I'm going the other way, and I'm going, who is this hottie? And I take a look. But then I realize she's not necessarily hot. She's just skinny. But skinny people wear yoga pants and sports bras now and become de facto hot from a distance. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, back in the day, if you had a homely face and you're just wearing a skirt and a blouse, you were just homely. Now you can be skinny and homely and put on yoga pants and a sports bra, and you've already been kicked up to a 7 because you're showing off the abs and the ass, right? This sports bra, Lululemon yoga pant thing has been a windfall to all the homely women out there because they all of a sudden you're looking at them, you know, walking behind them in the airport, whatever. Then you really break down homely. All right, you're not fat. You got the yoga pants and the sports bra and the midriff showing. Now, what's making you homely? All we got is nose and teeth, pretty much at this point, right? Teeth, every third commercial says go to Dr. Manger and get your caps and your veneers and get your snaggletooth. Get all, you know, $1,800. You're walking out of there looking like a rock star, right? Looking Hollywood, right? Nose, you're $3,000 away from looking like a model, right? So now you're skinny, You got the Lululemons. Now, back in the day, you were homely. There's nothing you could do about it. In the old Western days, you wear big fat skirt, big flowy bow thing, and have a weird homely face, and no suitors calling. Now, skinny, Lululemons, sports bra, $3,000 to the nose, $1,500 to the teeth. All we got left. Now you put on a big pair of Chanel oversized glasses, put the big sunglasses on, ball cap. You're now hot. Historically, you're a 4. You've got yourself bumped up to like a 3, like an 8.5, maybe even a 9, with not a lot of cash, just not being fat, and the resurgence, or I should say, the popularity of yoga pants. Homely women used to just be skinny, and then we didn't care. They used to be wearing baggy jeans and a T-shirt or something. Yoga pants and the sports bra. There's no one. You can't be under a 6 if you're skinny. And I think this is a windfall to all of the formerly homely women. Once you get your teeth fixed and your nose fixed, you're there. You're pretty much there. Because the only thing left is fat. And once fat's gone, because you're not fat. Now, I don't know why you're not fat, but you're not fat. There are more and more fat women, so you're sort of competing.
And you're kind of leaving out the fact that these pants are formed. They form you. Any fat you do have is formed into the ideal shape.
Gets pushed in the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
the form-fitting Lululemons, the sports bra, and you're pretty much there. Okay, spray tan.
Yeah.
You're pretty much. Where are you going? You're no longer homely.
And you're not even talking about makeup technology with the tutorials. Every woman is an artist now, so I know. So you're being completely bamboozled right after you get past the Winnebago.
The nose and the teeth, that's Christmas, that's Hanukkah and your birthday and, whatever. Boom, it's done. 18 and a half, got the shit done. Veneers. Where are we at, Chris? Come on, more homely.
I think, 2 things. Every woman is beautiful in their own special way.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I hope I'm being clear. I hope that's coming through.
There's someone for everyone.
There's a lid for every pot.
Everybody has somebody for them.
Listen, when I was young, there were homely girls, but almost no fat girls. Fat's the new homely. There are fat girls now, but you don't see homely. Remember you'd see the weird cockeyed, like the weird lump in the nose and the weird gap in the tooth or the extra tooth on top of it.
We have the technology.
We have the technology.
Well, I think health is much more important.
Man.
I mean, if you do have a weight issue, there are drugs for that. There's medicine for that now.
That's
true. I think we see more people trying to be healthy.
But the form-fitting yoga pants, that's what it was. Because you used to just be skinny and you'd wear baggy sweats or jeans, and that didn't do anything. So this mystery woman clad in her Lululemons and her sports bra, I went, oh, here comes a hottie, but I don't know. No. I don't really know.
Well, you never know from that far away. And that's the great mystery of life, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah. We may never know, but you'll think about it.
Hold on. If you were jogging down
I almost escaped this whole episode
between 9:40 a.m. and 10:15, and you can hear this podcast, and you were dressed in black Lululemons and a sports bra, you need to reach out to me because I think she may. We have a pretty wide reach.
Have her on the show.
Chris, I was walking on the same beach once. And I found a bottle, and it had a message in it.
Really? And what was the message?
It was a message of hope or something, but it was a woman who had a message, put it in a bottle, and threw it out to sea, but it washed back on the shore. And I contacted the woman.
Did you?
And we talked to her on this show.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Was she homely?
She was wearing Lululemon, so it was hard to tell. All right, on the women front, let me ask this. But I realize there's a difference here, which is, what is one of those Cybertrucks retail for, Joe? It's over $100.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's $100 some odd dollars, yeah.
I realize the difference between men and women because women like things like high-end bags, right? And they'll go, oh, it's a Gucci or Mez or whatever. I don't even know all the designer names. Louis Vuitton, and beyond. And so this bag would normally retail for $5,000. But good news, your lady friend got it for $2,500. And then women go, oh, that's good news. And in their behalf, to make their argument, they could resell it or it has some value, resale value, if you do it right. I guess it'd be like a guy being a sneakerhead. You could pay...
Right.
You could pay $1 million for a pair of Jordan rookie worn, in-game worn, and it might be worth $2 million in 5 years or whatever.
For collector.
But in general, the difference, as I was thinking about it with men and women, is women buy a purse for $5,000, but the actual purse has $200 worth of material.
Actually, $57.
$57.
I just read an article specifically on this where a $2,500 purse was found to have $57 of work. That's including the person to put it together.
All right.
Okay.
Glad you're here for that. Now, so for guys, like I saw a high-end purse. When you buy a super high-end purse, it comes out of a high-end velvet bag. Right. That you throw away. Except for I go, the velvet bag, to me, is worth as much as the purse and would hold as much as the purse. But that's where my head's at. Yeah. But then I realized men, where are men at? You know, what's the difference? Like men and women, wiring and thinking, what's the difference? And I said, well, there's expensive shit that men like, right? And so I love cars. So you'd go, I would rather have a Ferrari than a Yaris. It's true. But when you look at a Yaris, it looks like it's worth what it's worth. Like it has the material. And then the Ferrari. So what I'm saying is like you could go to, Manhattan and buy a knockoff of the purse and you really can't tell the difference. So it's the same. So, I mean, if there was a knockoff Ferrari that looked exactly the same as a Ferrari, except for it was $14,000 instead of $280,000, then I would get the price. But I thought about it. I thought, for guys, what we pay for, like when we go, you're paying for this, what are you getting? And like I said, anybody who climbs into a Bentley or Ferrari, the second you sit in the car, you just look around. You don't have to touch anything,
you can
and
tell
you go,
right away.
I see what I'm getting. Men, I was thinking about it. Steaks. Yeah, you pay more, but you definitely see it. Like it's right. Yeah, you can go down to Arby's and get some grilled rat or something like that, or you can get some Kobe beef. But it's like steak, and the thing that made me think about this is trucks. You can get a totally stripped down, Ford Ranger with 14-inch rims and a four-banger for $27,000, or you can get the full Ram loaded Rancher, deluxe, but
King Ranch.
Yes, you see exactly. That was Chris's gay porn name, by the way. You see exactly where all that money went. Yeah. Like you go, one's $27K, the other's $91,000. Go look at both of them, and you'll see where every penny of that went. Not so much with earrings and bags. And stuff like that. You see, and that's the difference. And the last one is tools. You can go to Harbor Freight and get a cordless drill for $19, and it'll feel like a tinny plastic nothing in your hand. Or you can get a Bosch German-made one. Now that's not $19. It's $149. Right. But put it in your hand. I feel the action.
We were doing something around the house in Michigan, and we had a substandard drill, and I couldn't, get the screw to go in through the deck. And then so I went out, and I just said, okay, I'm going to Ace. This is the place with the helpful hardware man. I said, I want the powerful one. I got it. It was gone.
Totally different experience.
I felt guilty because it was so easy to do.
Probably got an impact. Probably got an impact.
This thing was great, though.
Did it make noise? Did it go?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an impact, not a drill.
Yeah. But
you couldn't put a drill bit in it, could you?
Yeah.
Did it have a chuck?
No, it had a pull out.
Yeah. See, you had an impact gun.
This is great.
They sink screws all day long.
Yeah.
And you can put a drill bit in it, but it's not. It has a different tip on it. It's not tightened down the chuck.
No, you pull the thing up, pull the chuck up, put it in, let it go.
Yeah.
Boom, in. But I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
done.
I'm saying it looks different. It feels different.
It's a good tool.
And you know exactly from the $19 Harbor Freight made in Korea one to the Bosch made one, you know exactly the difference is $111, and you see where every bit of that went. And as a guy, I think the wiring is I don't mind paying more as long as I see where it went.
I don't think in the year I've owned this drill, I've had to charge the battery once. I mean, it's
Nice.
it just.
Really?
Yeah.
How many volts is it?
I don't know. It comes in a nice bag. It's the red one. What's the red?
Milwaukee.
brand? Yeah, Milwaukee.
Used to be a carpenter.
Yeah. I hauled drywall. I just hauled it in. I didn't have to put it up.
How called an impact gun?
I'll check that out.
Check it out.
I thought I bought a drill.
Well, it seems like a drill.
It looks like a drill.
It doesn't have a chuck, not a tightening chuck.
Not a tightening chuck.
plastic
It just pulled straight up, put it in.
So you guys are
and
talking
watch that.
utilitarian. How do women get convinced
Look
to
that
buy
up, Joe.
stuff that isn't worth anything? $57 worth of material, $2,500
Well,
bag.
it's how they feel about
emotional
it. Right.
investment.
Well,
I'm confused
They
about
can
that.
lord it over their friends. So when the skinny chick with the Lululemons is bragging at the party, the fat chick with the $2,500 worth of nothing shows up and goes, "Okay, skinny bitch, how you like me now?" That's how it works, right, Chris?
close to that, yeah.
All right, so Joe, look up Milwaukee drill set, and I bet it will come with a cordless drill and an impact gun, and you'll see the chuck with the weird foreskin on it.
I want to say it was about $168.
That's right, but you deserve it.
I do. And I keep it in a special place in the garage. Nobody else is allowed to use it. I said to my wife, I said, it's not a toy. It's not a toy. It's got
And
a
she
bag,
walked
a real
in
nice
the
bag.
garage,
That's right
and
there.
Chris said,
that's the bag right there.
Chris said, "You're free to leave."
Put the drill
Now,
down.
what do they call? They're calling one a drill and one an impact drill, perhaps the word impact in there.
Yeah, I didn't see the word
Cordless.
gun in anything.
I think we frown on that.
Driver.
Impact driver and a drill.
Yeah, impact driver versus a drill. We'll pull up.
Right, and
we'll
so
pull up the two different tips
Chris, you got an impact driver.
Yeah.
That'll sink screws all day long.
Oh, yeah.
But it can also work as a drill.
Yeah. That must be what I have.
But when you're talking to your heterosexual neighbor who's driving the Ram, King Ranch, called an impact driver.
Impact driver.
He'll hand you a cold one.
It's this thing is like magic.
Oh,
I mean, it just
it is. It's great when technology and science sort of figure things out.
I have the one to the right.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Because that's what I told you had. Because you don't have a chuck. You have the. I don't even know what they call it, but I don't think they call it chuck. But look, here's the whole point. There's an impact driver that goes pop to the right, pop to the left, pop to the right. So when you put something in, it's like pop, 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 and the screw just goes right down the bottom. When you do it in a continuous circle, like a screwdriver, it goes. It fights with it the whole time.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang. That's how impact drivers work. So if you have a nut on a diesel truck, a lug nut, and it's welded on because it's rusted on, and you take a breaker bar with a socket on it, you try to muscle it. You go, I gotta go this way. Oh, I gotta loosen it. That's not how this works. That's how the drill works. The impact gun goes pop, 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 back and forth so many times it breaks it loose. And that's what you're talking about, an impact driver.
Now I know.
Now you know.
The more you know.
Listen, you know pedophiles, I know construction together.
We cannot be dominated.
We make a team. It's like the beginning of Heart to Heart. You ever see Heart to Heart, the TV show?
It's a great show.
You know pedophiles, I can build a deck, and together.
We can build a predator house.
It was murder.
I know how to make iced tea.
All right. Well, we're going to need some refreshment.
How are you at cookies and brownies?
I got you guys.
good.
Bring the iced tea and the Toll House cookies and bring a flower for Chris's mouth.
You had to ruin the whole thing. It was such a great show right up until that
Oh
point.
my goodness.
All right. Well, let's get the plugs out.
Yeah.
True Blue Crime Networks streaming all the crime documentaries in progress. We go there and Takedown.
Takedown is the Predator series, the investigation. Takedown with Chris Hansen on True Blue. Podcast is Predators I've Caught. And we have a new podcast that's just dropped, Predator in Plain Sight, exposing Tom Girardi, the lawyer here in Los Angeles, all tied up, and that trial starts
Had the
in August.
reality TV wife and that stuff.
Erica
Interesting
Jane.
story.
Yeah, no, it's a fascinating story.
Jason, the charity MVP, merging vets and players. Where do we go to learn more about
Merging
charity?
Vets and Pros players.com.
Twitter and Instagram at Mayhem Miller. Me, going to be doing stand-up tomorrow. Eugene, Oregon, McDonald Theater. So I'll be back.
Eugene's a cool town.
I'm going to make it a little less cool.
Hell yeah.
And Saturday, Snoqualmie Casino doing stand-up there Saturday. So if you're in the area, that's in Washington, come say hi. And go down to Carolla.com for all the live shows. Until next time, I'm for Jason, Mayhem Miller, and Chris Hansen saying mahalo.